Ever since we've had computers, the keyboard has been the way we get our thoughts onto the screen. But what if, this whole time, it's actually been holding us back? Let's get into the massive shift that's happening right now in how we talk to our tech.
Okay, so here's our starting point. The average person types at about 40 words per minute. Yeah, it might feel like your fingers are flying, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a huge bottleneck. We've all been there, right? You have this brilliant idea, and it just starts to fade before you can even get it all down on the page.
Now compare that 40 to this. We speak at around 150 words per minute. That is nearly 4 times faster. Our mouths are just built to outpace our fingers. And that huge gap, well, that's where all the frustration comes from.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that core problem. The distance between what's in your head and what's on the screen feels huge. Our ideas are racing ahead, while our fingers are just struggling to keep up. It's this friction point that almost all of us feel in our modern work lives.
So, what's different now? Well, it's not just about turning your voice into text anymore. The real game changer, thanks to these massive leaps in AI and natural language processing, is what I'd call intelligent editing. This is what's taking dictation from a clunky, sort of useful tool to something that feels totally seamless.
Let's just break it down. Old way versus the new way. We're making this leap from just getting a raw, messy transcription to a system that intelligently edits and cleans up what you're saying as you're saying it. And that, right there, is the crucial difference. And this should look familiar. This is what we used to get, right? Just a literal word-for-word brain dump. It's got all your ums and uhs, no punctuation, nothing. You'd spend so much time just cleaning this up that it almost defeated the whole purpose of speaking in the first place. And check this out. This is the magic of these new AI tools. It takes that exact same messy sentence and automatically turns it into a clean, professional, totally ready to send message. No more manual cleanup, it's just done.
So how in the world does it do that? Well, one of the key pieces of tech is something called context awareness. The AI is actually smart enough to use the other information on your screen to make its transcription way more accurate. So for example, it might see you're replying to an email from a Steven, spelled with a PH, or a Zarif, and it gets the spelling right instantly, first try. No way the old tools could do that. That's a total game changer. Okay, so it's not just about getting the words right anymore. These new tools are absolutely packed with smart features that are all designed to make using your voice feel completely natural and effortless. Let's dive into what's actually in the modern toolkit.
These are pretty much the must-haves now. You've got the automatic removal of all those ums and ahs. You've got intelligent punctuation. And my favorite, contextual corrections. You can literally say, let's meet at 3 p.m. Actually, no, let's do 1 p.m. and just 1 p.m. appears on the screen. Throw in things like a whisper mode for when you're in the office, and the ability to work in any app you want, and you've got a seriously powerful setup. Okay, so if you're thinking about jumping in, you should know the market can be a little confusing. It's kind of the Wild West out there. So let's try to simplify it and just map out the 3 main categories of dictation tools you'll find today. So first up, you have the tools that are already built into your phone or your computer. They're super convenient, they're free, but let's be honest, the accuracy can be a little hit or miss. Then you have the old guard, the legacy pro tools like Dragon. They offer incredibly deep customization, which is great for specialized fields like medicine or law, but they do take a lot of training. And then there's this new wave, the modern AI apps. Their whole focus is on speed and that automatic, intelligent editing for your everyday writing.
Now, as exciting as all of this is, the technology is definitely not perfect. Not yet anyway. So to give you the full picture, we gotta be real and talk about some of the current limitations and trade-offs. So yeah, the big question, what's the catch? Because there's always a catch, isn't there? While these apps are incredible productivity boosters, they do come with a few things you really need to be aware of before you dive in headfirst.
For starters, some apps have recording time limits, which can really break your flow if you're doing a long brainstorm. You might run into weird bugs on certain devices, and of course, performance can really take a hit if you're in a noisy coffee shop. But this one's crucial. Remember that context awareness feature? Well, that means the app is reading data on your screen, which definitely raises some privacy questions you need to think about. And yeah, naturally, all the best features are usually locked behind a subscription.
All right, let's zoom all the way out. We've looked at the tech, the market, and the drawbacks. But what does this all mean for the future? Like the really big picture of how we get stuff done on our devices.
So look, this is not some niche little trend. The data shows we are already well on our way to becoming a voice-first society. Almost 60% of people in the US are already using voice search. And get this, voice-based shopping is projected to be a 45 times billion-dollar market. We are just getting more and more comfortable talking to our technology.
And what that means is that these tools are breaking out of that original box they were in as just an accessibility tool. For basically anyone who writes for a living, we're talking students, doctors, programmers, YouTubers, you name it, this is becoming a mainstream productivity revolution. It's a way to finally work as fast as you can think.
Which leaves us with this one last, pretty provocative question. For the first time in about 150 years, the keyboard has a real, serious competitor. So are we standing on the edge of a new era where typing isn't our default way of getting ideas down anymore, but it's just the backup option?